My husband's secret business partner had been signing documents as N. Ward for years. I didn't even know those documents existed until one night last October when I opened a drawer in his home studio and found the full name written on a filing form. Nicole R. Ward. My college roommate. My maid of honor. The woman who held my bouquet while I promised forever to the man standing in front of me. Let me back up, because that drawer wasn't where this story started, only where it finally cracked open. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 34, an ER nurse at a hospital just outside Nashville, Tennessee. Derek and I had been together 9 years, married for 6. He's a session guitarist and part-time producer, the kind of guy who knows every songwriter on Music Row by first name. We have 2 kids, Maddie, 9, and Lucas, 5. Nicole stood right beside me as my maid of honor at our wedding, and not long after, she said she was moving to Denver for a job. We slowly lost touch after that, the way college friends sometimes do. We bought a brick ranch house in Hendersonville 3 years ago, the kind with a tire swing out front and a mailbox shaped like a guitar, because Derek thought it was funny. From the porch on a normal Tuesday evening, with the grill going and Lucas chasing fireflies, we looked exactly like the family in a bank commercial. Looking back, the cracks started small enough that I explained every one of them away. Derek picked up more session work on weeknights, sometimes not walking in until midnight, smelling like someone else's perfume layered under his own cologne. He started locking his phone with a passcode instead of his thumbprint, angling the screen away from me at the kitchen table like it was second nature. A letter once came addressed to Ward and Bennett Properties, LLC, and he snatched it off the counter before I'd finished reading the return address, laughing it off as tax paperwork our accountant handles. Even his own bandmate, Tommy, gave me a strange, careful look at a backyard cookout that summer, the kind of look people give you right before they decide not to say something. I let all of it go. I had 2 kids, a 12-hour shift the next morning, and a husband who still kissed me goodnight. Have you ever caught yourself building an excuse before you'd even finished feeling suspicious? I did that over and over for almost a year. The real crack came on a Thursday in October. Derek said he had a late session downtown and wouldn't be home until after 1. I believed him right up until Maddie spiked a 103-degree fever and I needed him to watch Lucas so I could take her to urgent care. I called the studio directly, something I'd genuinely never done in 6 years of marriage. The receptionist told me, kindly, that no one named Derek Bennett had booked time that night or in weeks. My stomach dropped straight through the floor of that kitchen, Maddie coughing against my shoulder, the phone still warm against my ear. I didn't scream. I didn't even confront him when he came home at 1:40 a.m., smelling faintly of someone else's shampoo. I waited until he was asleep and went through the drawer in his studio he always called boring business stuff. Underneath tax forms, I found the formation paperwork for Ward and Bennett Properties, LLC, filed 4 years earlier, funded with $11,000 from a line of credit I didn't know we had. Underneath that was an operating agreement with 2 names typed side by side, Derek Bennett and Nicole R. Ward, 50% each. There were bank statements too, from an account I'd never seen, both their names printed at the top. Maybe Nicole really had gone to Denver for a while. But 4 years ago, right around the time she'd quietly drifted out of my life, she'd just as quietly become Derek's business partner instead, and the proof that Derek had been hiding something enormous had been sitting under my own roof for 4 years. Maddie's fever broke by the weekend, and once both kids were back at school, I drove to the property address listed on that filing, telling myself there had to be some boring explanation, that maybe Derek was just investing with an old friend and hiding it because he knew how I'd react. I want you to sit with how hard I was still protecting him in my own head, even holding proof in my hand. The address led to a small brick duplex in East Nashville with a fall wreath on the door and Derek's truck parked crooked in the driveway, like he'd pulled in fast and hadn't bothered to straighten it. My hands were shaking so badly I had to sit in the car a full minute before I could open the door. A woman answered wearing Derek's old Tennessee Titans hoodie, the one I'd bought him for his 30th birthday. She was 8 months pregnant, one hand resting on her stomach without thinking. It took me 3 full seconds to recognize her, and when I did, the sidewalk actually tilted under my feet. Nicole. The woman who fixed my veil before I walked down the aisle. The woman who gave a toast about how Derek finally found someone who could keep up with him, a line the whole reception laughed at, a line I now understood completely differently. She looked at me and said my name like she'd already rehearsed this exact moment. Claire, you weren't supposed to find out this way. Not this way, just not this way at all. Derek came to the door behind her, shirtless, and for 1 full second his face didn't even register guilt, only the mild irritation of an inconvenience showing up early. This wasn't a mistake he'd stumbled into at a bar. Derek admitted it right there in the doorway, flat and matter-of-fact, like he was explaining a schedule change rather than destroying our marriage. The affair had started the same year they formed the LLC. 4 years. He'd been living 2 lives for 4 straight years while I made his lunch, ironed his stage shirts, and told our friends how lucky I was. I got back in my car shaking too hard to drive, and I called my own mother, Diane, sobbing so hard I could barely get the words out. I expected her to grab her keys and come straight to me. Instead, there was a long, heavy pause on the line, the kind that already tells you the answer before anyone speaks. Then she said, very quietly, "Claire, honey, there's something about the mortgage I need to tell you." 2 years earlier, right after my father's medical bills wiped out her savings, she discovered Derek's affair by accident. And instead of telling me, she'd let him start quietly covering half her mortgage payment in exchange for her silence. She'd sat across from me at Sunday dinners for 2 straight years, watched me talk about Derek's busy schedule, and said nothing. My own mother had traded the truth about my marriage for a house payment. I sat in that car afterward, and I didn't cry, not right away. I just sat there breathing, staring at Derek's truck through the windshield, feeling 6 years of marriage rearrange itself into something I no longer recognized. Sometimes, the loudest moment in a story like this isn't the screaming. It's the silence right before, when your whole body goes still, because it hasn't decided yet whether it's about to break. Then it broke anyway. I got back out of that car and walked straight up to the duplex a second time. I don't remember every word I screamed in that driveway, only fragments that he'd built a second home, opened a second bank account, and lived a second life, that I'd defended his late sessions to my sister, to my coworkers, to anyone who asked why he was never around, that Nicole had literally held my bouquet while I promised forever to the man standing behind her now. Nicole started crying, insisting it wasn't supposed to happen this way, as if there were a version of stealing your best friend's husband for 4 years that was ever supposed to happen gently. The next morning, before my shift even started, I called a divorce attorney, documented every account Derek and I shared, and made sure he couldn't quietly move another dollar without me knowing. But I did not scream at my mother. I simply stopped answering her calls, and I found some silences say more than any confrontation ever could. The weeks after were their own particular cruelty. Nashville suddenly felt much smaller than it ever had before. I ran into Nicole once at the Kroger on Gallatin Pike, both of us frozen in the cereal aisle, neither of us saying a word. 3 weeks into the divorce filing, I walked into Maddie's fall recital and found Derek and Nicole together in the 3rd row, her belly round under a maternity dress, side by side, like they were already a family and I was the outsider. Maddie waved at both of them before she even found me in the crowd. That's the detail that still keeps me up some nights. Not the affair itself, but watching my 9-year-old not yet understand what any of it meant, or why my hands shook every time I dropped her off with Derek. The custody mediation was its own quiet battlefield. Derek's attorney spent an entire afternoon attacking my overnight ER shifts, arguing that Derek and Nicole could offer the kids a more stable home with 2 adults present once the baby came. I sat across that table in my scrubs, straight off a shift, and listened to a man I'd shared a bed with for 9 years call his second family more stable than the one he'd been quietly betraying for 4 of those years. In the end, I kept Maddie and Lucas most weeknights, and I have never once regretted fighting for that. Schedule by schedule, document by document, exhausted week after exhausted week. A month later, Tommy texted me out of nowhere. He said he'd known for almost 2 years and had almost told me a dozen times, and he was sorry he never did. I didn't answer for 3 days. When I finally did, I just wrote, 2 years is a long time to almost tell someone. He never replied to that, and I haven't decided yet if I want him to. My mother still calls sometimes, usually Sunday evenings, the same time she always checked in when I was in nursing school. I let it ring out every time, watching her name light up the screen until it goes dark again. I keep telling myself that forgiving her for taking Derek's money would mean forgiving 2 years of silence too, and I honestly can't decide anymore if that's true, or fair, or something I owe her simply because she's my mother. I still wear my wedding ring on a chain sometimes, not out of love, but because I haven't figured out what to do with 9 years. I can't just fold away in a drawer the way Derek hid 4 of them. So I'll ask you what I ask myself every night once the house finally goes quiet. If your own mother chose a house payment over the truth, would you ever be able to trust her again? And if you were standing in that driveway looking at your best friend in your husband's hoodie, 8 months pregnant, would you have screamed too? Or gone as quiet as I did at first? Tell me honestly in the comments. I think I still need to hear it from someone outside this family.